my Steam Deck right here.
You may want to unshare your video.
You'd be right on time.
Yeah, good evening, Lendro. This is Sunita here. Sorry, Nilüfer will not be able to join. So I'll be hosting this meeting, this training.
Hi, Sunita. How are you doing? This is John Marco. I will be the person conducting the training. Welcome.
Oh, yeah, welcome. Thank you so much. Yeah, we are doing good. How are you?
We're doing good. I think it's night over there, right? Around 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, it is 7:30 p.m. here. Yes.
Oh, okay. It's morning here, so we
Okay.
appreciate you staying late to join us.
Yeah, not an issue. Yeah, due to
Uh,
late, I mean, there'd be very less, I think, participants, but we'll just wait for a few minutes and then we'll start.
sure, you just let me know when you would like to get started and we'll go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect.
Yeah, Marco, are you there?
Yes, Sunita.
Actually, many of the participants are unable to join. It's asking for some password.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have any notifications here for password, and everybody else was able to join without a password, correct?
Yeah, even we could join, but some participants are just mentioning that it's asking for some password.
I'm sorry if I can interrupt. This is Leandro. It's not asking for a password. It's asking them to sign into Zoom. They can sign into Zoom using their normal Gmail or email.
Okay, I'll just inform them.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Leandro.
No problem.
Yeah, Marco, I think you can start off the training.
All right.
We'll share
Perfect.
the details with the others once they join in.
Perfect. And just to confirm, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, we can.
Perfect. All right, so let's get started. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief presentation about Caldwell University, and then we can just open it up for any questions so we can make sure that you have all the information that you need so you can connect with students.
Yeah, sure, sure. You can start.
All right, my name is John Marco Lleras. I am the director of the Office of International Students. I'm going to be your primary contact for any questions you may have about Caldwell University or any interested students. And Leandro is also on the call, but he's in the background. He also works for the Office of International Student Services, and he's the coordinator as well. So he's here to help us.
Good morning and good evening.
All right, so I just wanted to get started by saying that Caldwell University is ranked among the top 15 best value colleges in the North by US News and World Report. This is, I believe, the third or fourth year in a row that received this accolade. So I think it's important to mention because students are always asking about rankings, and that's a good one to mention. So what are some of the reasons to attend Caldwell University? Some of the items that attract students to our campus is, first of all, our location. We are in Caldwell, New Jersey, which is only 20 miles from New York City, so about 30 kilometers, which makes it great for the students. They have access to arguably the busiest or one of the most important cities in the world, while still being in a suburban area, which is extremely safe and calm. So they get the best out of both worlds. And our students can also use New York City for internships or to obtain a job after graduation. We are a small university, so we're able to offer small classrooms, and that also allows us to provide students personalized attention. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the following slide. We offer 80 programs of study. As a matter of fact, it's 82 or 83. So we know a lot of the students are looking for engineering, but that is one of the programs that unfortunately we do not offer. So other reasons to attend Caldwell University, we offer pretty generous scholarships. On average, our students receive about $25,000 per year in merit-based scholarships. These scholarships can actually go as high as $33,000 per year. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. The outcomes, students are always asking, oh, what can I do when I graduate? What are my expectations? Well, 95% of our recent graduates are currently employed, attending graduate school, or participating in a service project. So I think that's a pretty high percentage that could help convince students that we are the right place for them. And then diversity. Even though we are a small university, like I mentioned before, we have students from over 45 different countries attending Caldwell University. So that's something that we're pretty proud of and something that we're trying to continue growing as we move through the years. This is just an aerial view of our campus. Like I mentioned before, even though we're very close to New York City, this is where the students will be. This is our campus. It's a suburban area, green, wooded, with easy access to New York City. I mentioned before that we're a small university. We only have about a total of 2,000 students. That includes undergraduate and graduate students, with a student to faculty ratio of 15:1 and an average class size of 16. So like I said before, this really allows us to provide students with personalized attention. They will get to know the professors. They will become resources for them. If they want to get a job, if they want to apply for an internship, the professors are the tool for that. We get asked a lot about our housing options for the students. Even though living on campus it is not required for our international students, we strongly recommend that our new students live on campus for at least their first year, because this will make an easier transition. And you also have to consider that finding off-campus housing is not easy for somebody that is not familiar with the area. So we offer 3 different dormitories on campus. They are all different. We have your traditional double bedrooms in which the bathrooms and showers are shared by the students in the wing, all the way up to individual apartment style housing, in which we have an apartment for 4 students, 4 single bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, living room. So it's a whole array of options on our campus, and we have 3 dormitories, like I mentioned. The intakes for our international students, we only accept new international students for the fall or the spring semesters. The fall 25 is the next available term, and it starts on August 25. The deadline to complete the application is June 1st, and the deadline to commit to the university is July 1st. We have a lot of time ahead of us still until the deadline. However, we would love to see students applying as early as possible, because nowadays obtaining a visa appointment can take some time depending on what country they're coming from. And the spring semester intake starts in January of 2026. I know that's still over a year from now, but I wanted to put it there as well in case any students cannot make it in the fall. So what are the admission requirements? The documents that we need from students in order to make an admission decision is, once they submit their application, which by the way can be done via the Common App or via our Caldwell web app on our website. There's no preference. There's no application fee, so that is waived. And what we need is their official final secondary school transcripts. We should be able to make an admission decision based on the transcripts that you share with us. However, at a later time, for enrollment purposes, we will require an official NACES evaluation for enrollment purposes, like I said. We also require proof of English proficiency. I'll go into more detail in the next slide. SAT and ACT submission is optional. However, students that submit SAT scores or ACT scores above 1100 or 23 will be eligible for additional academic scholarships. So we recommend that if they can take the test, they should do it and then submit the scores to us. There's also an essay and 2 letters of recommendation, but submission of those is optional. You are more than welcome to submit those for your students, and we will consider them if you do so. Once we receive all these required documents, it takes us about 3 weeks to issue an admission and a scholarship decision. If at some point you're looking for an expedited decision, all you need to do is let me know, and we can try to issue the decision faster than that. Like I mentioned in a prior slide, we require English proficiency for admission purposes because we do not offer an ESL program on campus. So every student needs to show proficiency before they can be admitted to the university. The ways in which they can show this English proficiency are by submitting TOEFL scores, at least 70, a score of 6 for the IELTS, 105 for Duolingo, 48 for PTE academic, and for those submitting SATs, a 490 on the English section, and those submitting ACT scores, it will be a minimum of 18 on the English section. So every student is required to submit proof of English proficiency. What you see on the screen now are just some of our recognitions and accreditations. I mean, every school nowadays should be have these accreditations, but I just wanted to put them on the screen so you are aware that we have them all. I mentioned that we have over 80 programs of study. You can see them on the screen right now. That's the complete list. The most popular programs that we have amongst our international students are computer science by far. That's where I would say about 60 to 70% of our international students decide to go. Then we also offer biology because that one serves all of our pre-professional programs. So pre-medicine, pre-dentistry, pre-dental, pre-vet. So our students are also very interested in biology. And then for the other programs, it's just an even split. I would say we have students interested in pretty much everything that you see on the screen. But computer science, once again, by far the most popular. Cost of attendance. This is something that is very important for the international students. These are the estimated costs for fall 25 and spring 26. Tuition is about $40,000 per year. Room and board, which includes their housing as well as their meals. This is an all-you-can-eat system while they're in school. That's $14,600. Fees is a little under $4,000. So the total estimated cost of attendance for a student living on campus is $58,370. So that's the amount they would have to show on their I-20 application after being admitted to the university. And like I mentioned before, we offer pretty generous academic scholarships, which we're going to see next. So the academic scholarships that are based on the student's GPA and their high school performance, they range between 16,000 per year all the way up to 27,000 per year. Students are automatically considered for this. They do not need to. Before, we also offer scholarships based on SAT or ACT submission. Students need a minimum of 1,100 on the SAT or 23 on the ACT. Submission of these test scores will make them eligible for an additional scholarship ranging from $1,000 to $3,000 per year. So just on this academic section, a student can potentially get up to $30,000 per year. In addition, there are other smaller scholarships. There's the honor scholarship. Students with the highest achievement are invited to join the program and will receive a $1,000 honor scholarship on top of their academic scholarships. We also offer a Catholic high school scholarship. We are a Catholic university. However, we have students from all different religious backgrounds and faiths. But for those students that graduated from a Catholic high school, we will give them an additional $2,500 scholarship per year. So just like that, we keep adding little scholarships can make this more affordable for the students. We are members of the NCAA Division II, which also means that we are able to offer athletic scholarships. However, these athletic scholarships are awarded directly by the coaches. So if anybody is interested in playing sports or being considered for an athletic scholarship, just let me know and I can put them in contact with the respective coaches. And last but not least, We are very conveniently located near three major airports, which makes travel and moving around a lot easier for our airport. That's the airport that we recommend the students arrive at. However, we understand that depending on where they're coming from, there may not be availability or the price could be different. So we also have the option of LaGuardia Airport, which is about an hour from our campus, or JFK Airport, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from our campus. And one last thing that I wanted to bring up before we start with the Q&A portion of today's presentation is once you have a student that is interested in applying to Caldwell University, please make sure that you let me know. My email is on the screen. It's jgiras@caldwell.edu. So I can make sure that I code the student as a GB student, and that way you can get the recognition if the student ends up enrolling at Caldwell. So just shoot me an email letting me know the student is applying, provide the full name, and we can code the student at that point. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is that as stated in our recruitment agreement, these two countries, Nepal and Bangladesh, are excluded. The reason why we did that is because we already have a very healthy population of students from both of these countries attending Caldwell University. So we're really not looking for additional students from these areas. But every other country in the world is open, and we would love to see more students from those countries. So that pretty much ends the presentation. I just want to leave you with some important links on the screen. Don't worry, I will be sharing this presentation with Sunita at the end of the presentation, as well as Nilofer, so they can share them with you and communicate via email. But like I said, that is everything on my end. Now I would like to open it for any questions that you may have about the university, the process, or anything else you would like to know.
Yeah, team, if you have any questions, you can just write it down or you can speak up.
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can feel free to either type them on the chat or just ask the question here with everybody else.
Yeah, I have a few questions, Marco. Yeah, most of the questions I think you sent it via mail, the answers. I have a few more questions. Is home-based TOEFL accepted?
Yes, we do. I know there's the different tests are changing the modality in which are being offered, so we're being open to that, and we will accept the home test as well.
Okay. Yeah,
I
and
see a
official.
couple. Go ahead, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, you can continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so I see a couple of questions on the chat. They're both regarding the enrollment deposit. That's a great question. Thank you for asking. So the amounts are, there's two different amounts. For a student that would like to live off campus, the enrollment deposit will be $250. And for a student that would like to live on campus, the enrollment deposit will be $450. Let's keep in mind that these deposits are refundable only in case of a visa denial. So if a student makes a deposit and then they decide they don't want to enroll at Caldwell, then they will forfeit that deposit. But if they get a visa denial, either refund it or defer it to the following term, whichever the student prefers.
Marco, can you repeat because we lost your voice in between?
Sure. So there's two different amounts for the enrollment deposit. For students living off campus, for commuters, it is $250. And for residents, for those living on campus, the deposit is $450. And what I said before is that the deposit is only refundable in case of a visa denial.
Only visa denial. Yeah. Yeah, and another question is, do the students need to do the official score reporting?
So for admission purposes, we will take just a copy of the test scores. However,
Okay.
for enrollment purposes, for I-20 issuance purposes, we will require the official score report.
Okay.
And just to clarify, that applies to the SAT or ACT. If it's TOEFL or IELTS, we can always verify those online. So we can be flexible with that as long as we just communicate regarding that.
Okay.
I see another question that says open school distance is accepted. If you could clarify what you mean with that, I would appreciate that.
It is mainly a distance learning. I mean, if the students don't go for the regular college or school or college, I mean, or undergrad, and if they want to join the regular PG program at the
So,
university.
yeah, no, unfortunately, that is not possible since we only issue F1 visas. We do require that the students must be full-time students on, so there's no distance learning available. We do give the students the option of taking at least one online class, but the majority of the classes must be on campus, so they have to be here. I see another question. What is the GPA requirement? So there's not a specific cut of GPA required, but what we're looking for is students to have, I would say, at least a 3.0. We can accept students with GPAs lower than that, but if we do keep in mind, that means that the student will probably receive a very low academic scholarship, and their chances of being able to afford studying here will be lower. Now, if this is a student that has a lot of money and that is not a problem, by all means, send them our way and we'll try to review them and I'll give them a decision as well. Financial documents required at the time of application, that is the question. So no, at the time of application, all we require is just the application for admission and the academic documents. So the transcripts and test scores if necessary. I mean, if the student will be submitting SAT or ACT, and we also need the English proficiency. However, the financial documents will be required after an admission decision is made. So once the student is admitted, then the student will start the I-20 application process, and that is where we will be requiring the financial documents.
Okay, and these documents need to be sent via email to you, or it should be uploaded. How do we send it?
It's easier if they just send to us via email. All that information will be included in the I-20 application.
Okay.
Leandro, who's also in the communications, but I help him. And obviously, any students coming from GB would put a little check on them to make sure that we do an extra review to make sure that everything is fine for you guys and we can process them as fast as possible. It says how much funds to be shown for the I-20. So the amount that needs to be shown for the I-20, let me go back in the presentations, is the same estimated cost of attendance that I included in one of the slides. I'm getting there.
58,000, I think 58,370 $370.
You are correct. So these are the numbers for the I-20 application, 58,370 per year.
Okay.
That is for students living on campus. For those living off campus, I believe that amount goes down to around 55,000, and that will be seen on the I-20 application once we share them with you.
Okay, yeah. And yeah, one more question. Is offer sent to the students or sent to us?
So the admission decision is sent to the email that we have on file for the student's application. We ask that you please just keep the student's email on the application, even if you're helping them, because we will be communicating with them directly and we need the student's email. However, if you would like to, we can also keep you informed of any admission decision made to any of your students that are coded for you.
Yeah, I think that would be better if you keep us in loop so that even we, I mean, no, sometimes the students don't revert. So it's better that you keep us in the loop.
Absolutely. So like I said during the presentation, once you have an applicant, make sure that you let us know the student's name that you're applying for them. That way we can code them, and every time a decision is made, we can also inform you about that.
Yeah, certainly we'll do that. Yeah.
Perfect. Now I see another question, the turnaround time to offer letter and I-20. So admission and scholarship decisions are usually issued within 2 weeks. In the presentation, I put 3 weeks because that's the max it would take. But we can usually issue the decision within 2 weeks. And then for the issuance of the I-20, That could be done pretty quick. That could be done within 2, 3 days. So the I-20 application, the enrollment deposit, and all the supporting financial documents, we can have that ready in less than a week.
Okay. And is maths required for the programs?
I'm sorry, is what required?
Maths.
Yeah, so math. So every single we are a liberal arts university, so every student will be required to take a math class while they're studying at campus. But for admissions purposes, we are not looking for any specific math score or credit. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, that means the students, for the admission purpose, it is not required for the reviewing purpose, but the student, once they reach on campus, they need to take the maths, you're telling?
Correctly, absolutely. The
Okay.
only programs that do require a review of their math courses will be those interested in nursing and those interested in biology.
Okay, got it. And how many years of gap is acceptable if the
To be
students have?
honest with you, we don't have a limit to that. I mean, if there is a student that has been out of school for 2, 3, 4 years and they meet the admission criteria, by all means, we will consider the student. But just so you know, that usually reduces the chances for the student of obtaining a visa, because this unless the student is well prepared to, provide the proper answers to the visa officer,
Okay.
it could be a problem. But on our end, there's no problem for that.
So do you need any proof for the gap? Well, does the student need to specify something in written or some proofs to be given?
No, as long as the student has not enrolled at another college, that is fine with us.
Okay.
I see another question here. It says medium of instruction accepted. So like I mentioned before, every student needs to provide proof of English proficiency for admission purposes. I know there are some schools that in which the medium of instruction is in English. Yes, we can provide a waiver for that, but we will need an official statement from the specific high school stating that the medium of instruction was English, and then we will waive the requirement.
Okay. And summer intake is not offered, right?
So there's no summer intake, but once a student is enrolled at the university, they are allowed to take summer classes, but we do not have an intake for the summer.
No intake. Yeah, got it. And are all the programs commissionable?
Uh, Sorry, can you repeat that?
Are all the programs commissionable?
Yes, so all the undergraduate programs are part of our agreement. So if you let us know the name of the student and the student ends up enrolling at the university, yes, you will receive your commission. But like
Okay.
I mentioned at the end of the presentation, it excludes students from both Nepal and Bangladesh.
Yeah.
I see another question on the chat that says, is change of agent possible? If you could clarify what you mean by that.
No, if the student is, I mean, suppose I have sent one student's application. Okay, but I mean, the student by chance he goes to another agent that he wants to take the services of that agent. So is that possible?
You mean an agent within your own network
Yeah,
of?
yeah. No,
Yes, that's
suppose the
fine.
student is applied through someone else and he wants to take our services. So I mean, is there some form or anything where the student has to submit for the change of agent?
So it depends on when this change happens. So if the student applies and has already been accepted to the university, then at that point we will not accept the change of agents. However, if the student has only applied but hasn't completed the process, and then you basically claim the student as your student, then we will consider the student for you. But it has to be prior to an admission decision being issued.
Okay, and if the student applies on his own and he doesn't go to any agent and just once he receives his offer and he comes to us for the further services.
If it's after the admission decision was made, unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to consider that as your student.
Okay.
It
Either
would have
ways,
to be
it will not
prior to the
be.
decision.
Okay. And I mean, for prior decision also, I mean, do the student have to send some consent form or something, or I mean, how do we go about it? What
No,
is the process?
the only requirement that we have so we can consider the students as your students is at the moment of application to just let us know the student's name. So we'll just call them as one of your students, and that's it.
Okay, it should be only via mail.
Yep. And the email has to be sent to me at
Okay.
I'm gonna type my email on the chat so everybody can see it. Okay, so that's the email that where you would have to send us any information to claim any of the students.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Anything else we can answer for you?
Yeah, another question. Are the 12th grade predicted scores accepted for the bachelor's?
Yes, so we understand that many students submit their application before they have graduated, before they have completed their studies, or before their final examinations are, the final grades are issued. So yes, we will accept predicted scores for admission purposes.
Okay, great.
Okay, I see another question that says, what is the deferral process? So if a student applies, gets accepted, and for A or B reason is not able to enroll at the university, the deferral process is very easy. All they need to do is just let us know, and then we'll send in the deferral form. Please keep in mind the deferral is good only from the fall to the spring semester. If a student, let's say, is accepted for the spring and they would like to defer for the fall, there is no direct deferral because they're two different academic years. So all you need to do is let us know and we will give you what's called a fast application. That way the student doesn't have to resubmit everything. It's just answering a couple of questions and then a new admission decision will be made. Usually a new scholarship decision is issued, but that scholarship amount will pretty much remain the same. There shouldn't be much changes. So just to repeat, to recap, fall to spring deferral is extremely easy. Just let us know so we can send you the form. Spring to fall, let us know, and then we'll issue a new admission scholarship decision, but the results will probably be pretty much the same.
That means the student needs to apply again from spring to fall?
It's not a full application, it's just a fast application form, which basically asks the student to answer just, I think it's 4 questions, and then we will use all the documents that were previously submitted.
And where do we find this form?
It is not out there. If anybody's interested in that, you can just contact me directly and I will send it to you.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Yeah, because that is something that we don't promote out there, but it is available per request on demand.
Okay.
I see another question that says, does 9th and 11th mark sheets are required? So we usually require the mark sheets, the transcripts for the 3 or 4 last years of education, depending on the education system. So 3 or 4 years prior to graduation. Any more questions?
Team, do you all have any other questions?
I know
I think
it's
you
late
already
for you,
answered.
but Go ahead.
Uh, yeah, I just want to know, you've already answered this, no? Deposit fee refund, is the deposit fee is refunded. It's only when the visa is rejected, right?
That's correct. Only when there is a visa rejection.
Okay. Yeah, I think we
But
are good
let's
to
say if a
go.
student makes a deposit and they're not able to enroll because they were not able to secure a visa appointment in time, what we
Mm.
can do is we can defer the student's intake to the following term, and we'll just communicate internally to make sure that everything is considered, including the deposit. So that way the student won't have to submit a new deposit.
Okay, so even in the DEFRIL, the same deposit will be carried forward.
Correct.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think we are done with it, Marco. If there are any questions, I mean, we'll mail you
Mhm.
any other
Perfect.
questions because most of them have not joined. So if they have any questions, yeah, me and Nilufer will contact you soon.
Sounds good. Perfect. I want to thank all of you for joining us for this brief training. And I know it's late. It's a Friday for you, so you're all eager to start your weekend. Have an awesome weekend, and let's stay in touch via email.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marco, for the wonderful session, and wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of
Likewise, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much.
you. Wishing you the same. Bye bye.
Bye.